Hi, everyone. I'm Steve. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Steve.
My suspect is Daniel Daniel. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And I've known Daniel for about 38 years, and this is a guy that has met adversity in the eye, and I don't think I could personally have done it the way he's been able to do it. Works an awesome program, and has been a source of inspiration for me for over 35 years. So anyway, give him, I'll bring on him.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel. I'm a member of AA.
Hi, Daniel.
So I've set my timer here because I will run over if I don't. Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate it. I've had the privilege to hang out with Steve for 38 years, and he's my best friend. Kind of cool. Thank you for having me share. Thank you for the history there. This is awesome. My sponsor, Jim J., who has passed on, has graduated to the next plane, always told me when I get asked to speak at an AA meeting, try to give some legitimate AA literature, conference approves, in case you get absolutely nothing of what I have to say. So what I have to say is going to be my opinion. At least you got the message of AA. You know, our primary purpose is stay sober and help others achieve sobriety. And we do this by carrying this message, not my message. So I hope you get to have something I have to say, but I'm going to read just a quick paragraph. Practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fails. This is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message to alcoholics. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence when others fail. Remember, they are very ill. Life will take on a new meaning to watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see the fellowship grow about you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. We know you will not want to miss it. Frequent contact with newcomers and with each other will be a bright spot in your lives. So these are readers. Stay sober long enough, pretty soon you need readers, right? So anyways, I don't go a lot into my childhood because I have a hard time remembering a lot of it. When I was 3.5 years sober, I got in a pretty major motorcycle accident, and a lot of my memory is just wiped. So I don't remember my first drink, and even if I could, I don't think I would remember it because drinking's always been part of my family's life. I mean, from day one, I never had that. You know, people, I go to a lot of meetings and I look for the similarities. I never had that first elixir, like, oh man, that first drink in middle school, that first drink in high school, that first drink in college. I don't have that as part of my story. What I do have is I moved so much as a kid that I can't tell you how many times I moved. And I also can't tell you all the places I lived because we drank a lot and we're fleeing from some domestic violence stuff. Back in the 60s, before the internet, you could actually move a couple counties over, a couple states over, and it was really hard to find people. Now with technology, it's really easy. So we moved a lot, and my family life was not pleasant. But that's not why I drink. I drink because I'm an alcoholic. So I like to get too much into that. But what happened for me was I was gifted with a physical ability just to run faster than all the other kids, to hit the ball harder than all the other kids, and have more endurance than all the other kids. So quickly I got recognized by coaches, and that's who I clung to, you know, that male identity, somebody to praise me, somebody to hang out with. Literally, when I was playing Little League Baseball, if my coach said, hey, Dan, we need to run, but you're going to have to die, I would have said, okay. You know what I mean? Because that's how much I revered these men in my life. And slowly, one by one, even though I was the team captain of the football team, the wrestling team, I played baseball. My little dirty secret is that I played soccer. I really like soccer. It's the world sport, but in America back in the 60s and 70s, it was not a very looked upon sport. I went from being this guy to dropping out and not even playing because I could drink and I could do that if I wanted to. It was a lie. I told myself when other people's practice and hard work caught up with my natural ability, I would rather drink than put in the hard work. Kind of. Well, I just rather drink. I don't know what it is, but when I take a drink, the drink takes a drink, and then the drink takes me. So I got a job working in a restaurant because you can drink there. In a restaurant, you can drink all day. You know what I mean? And I met a girl, and we tried to play house, and I really liked her a lot. I mean, I really liked her a lot. But when I turned 21 and I got a valid piece of ID in my pocket that says I can drink whenever the F I want to, I did. And I just couldn't make it home. I wanted to make it home. I really did. I mean, she was a good girl. She was a nice girl. I liked her a lot. But after I got that piece of paper saying I can drink after work for as long as I want legally, I just couldn't make it home. And so that broke up, and I moved into a party house with a bunch of guys. And it was quite the house. I was the guy that's going in your backyard and stealing your wood in the middle of the night because, it's only one or two pieces. But then after a couple of months, a couple of cords are gone. It's only one or two pieces. You know what I mean? That's my life story right there. And there was this guy named Corey, and he was the guy that I used to just kind of compare myself to. Any of you guys have a couple of lower companions that used to hang around just to feel better about yourself? That was my buddy Corey. He was my Ebby. He just disappeared out of our lives. And about 2 years later, I saw him at a restaurant I was cooking at. In the restaurant part, not the bar. And he was ordering food, not a drink. And he was with a really pretty girl with all of her teeth. And he had a brand new Bronco in the driveway. And I just asked him, Corey, what are you doing? He's like, I go to AA. And I had never heard of AA before. I thought it was AAA. I thought, like, what? That doesn't make sense to me. I say, can I go? And he said, yes, you can. And I said, well, when is it? He says, well, I'll pick you up after work. And that just threw me for a loop. So I'm thinking sometime down in the future, I'll go to do this thing. I was not a person really committed to things back then. But he just wouldn't let me off the hook. He's like, yeah, when you got the new guy on the hook and you kind of like reeling them in. So he picked me up after work. I went home, took a cold wash up, dried myself with the dirty towel that was on the floor, and put on my other pair of pants. And off to my first AA meeting. I had never been to AA, I'd never heard of AA, but this guy, if you knew this guy, you'd understand why I was intrigued. He literally had a job and a brand new Bronco. It was intriguing to me. What is he doing? He was my lower companion. And he took me to a place called A New Beginning in Burien. It's a log cabin right down the street. It was at midnight. A guy named Larry A. was chairing it. And they brought me in, and he kind of did his nod. And this little people kind of got up and lit the candles around the room. And he turned off the light. And for the next hour and a half, or for however long it lasted, I don't remember. Back then, they just went until everybody's done sharing, sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning. They talked about God and not drinking, and God and not drinking, and some other crazy stuff. I mean, I literally thought I just walked into some freaky cult. I thought they were going to do like some kind of ritual with a chicken in the back room or something. I did some chemicals along with my drinking. That kind of helped my paranoia. So anyways, he drove me home. I said, what do you think? I said, that's the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. So I have not been sober since my first meeting. But that's okay. It's not part of my story. So somewhere between 3 and 6 months later, I was working 2 jobs because drinking is expensive. And I left my car at home in Des Moines at this party house because I knew that it was payday. It was payday from 2 jobs. So I took the envelope. I didn't have a bank account, and put the money from one job in my room. And I knew I was going to cash my check at the other job at the till because I didn't have a banking account. So I left my car at home to protect myself, right? So I go to the Pike Street Tavern to have 2 beers while I'm waiting for the bus. I do not remember what happened other than some kind of violent fight in the back of a taxi cab for about 2 minutes. Because like when you're in the middle of a blackout, sometimes you just come out of it for a second. And I woke up down Second and Pike in my car. I don't remember getting it. I don't remember driving it. I don't remember who I talked to. I'm a blackout drinker. When I take a drink, the drink takes a drink, drink takes me. And I wake up 2 or 3 days later sometimes with a new tattoo or somebody else's clothes on. That's why I don't drink. I'm a blackout drinker, and it terrifies me to get woken up by a jailer saying, hey, you know what? You did this last night and there's no takebacks. That's why I stay sober. I'm terrified of that news, of that blackout news. So I just suffered through it, detoxed, and I had this thing like at the back of my head, like it was audible. It's like, you're here because you got drunk last night. Go to that meeting. And I went to that meeting, and I have not had a drink since. That's been 1986. And it wasn't, not drinking is and has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life until it wasn't. And what I mean by that is I sat around the meetings. I got super anxious. I got super angry. I didn't know you guys met during the daytime. I thought you were a secret society that met at midnight. You know what I mean? And I started going to daytime meetings. I started going to meetings with my sponsor. And whenever Jim Johnson, I was going to leave AA because AA is just crazy. I'm still crazy. I'm still miserable. And he said, you're just suffering from untreated alcoholism. Right? So in about a 2.5 year period, my friend, my companion, my sponsor, Jim Johnson, took me through these spiritual steps, and something happened inside of me. What happened inside of me was, I remember one day I was getting ready to get paid, and I hadn't had that anxiety attack that I was going to have money. I used to get anxiety attack 2 or 3 days before I get paid because I knew that I was going to have money, and I knew I was going to get drunk, even though I didn't want to. And that just went away. But what happened in that process, which was most important for me, of working those 12 steps with Jim, was whenever my world was falling apart, I'd call him up and say, hey, Jim, you don't understand. He's shit. It's just, I'm going to detox tonight. You want to go? I'm like, no, I don't want to go. You don't understand. So we'd go to detox. I'd call him up the next day, 3 days later. You don't understand. She, he, it. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, we're going to the psych ward tonight. You want to go? No, I don't want to go to the psych ward. You don't understand. My whole world's falling apart. So over a 2.5 year period, I'm just making sure I run out of time here. Over a 2.5 year period, every time I had a major crisis in my life, he would take me to detox or Harbor View or to jail, and we'd carry this message. And somehow I made it through that crisis one more time. And in the process of 6 and 7, all those things that I drank over, one by one, were lifted from me doing this one act, helping somebody else. I didn't work on them. I didn't like, oh, I'm going to be a nicer person. I'm not going to hit anybody anymore. You know, I'm going to tell the truth. I couldn't. I was incapable of it. But God lifted those things one day at a time and gave me freedom. And with that freedom, I got a really good life. I don't want to brag about it, but I got a really good life. And at 3.5 years sober, I got ran over by a semi-truck on that beautiful motorcycle I bought myself for my 30th birthday present. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you guys ever been run over by a semi-truck, but that's where the term comes from. How you feeling today? I feel like I got hit by a truck. I mean, somebody actually got hit by a truck once. And that's how I felt. And my friend Steve was coming visiting me. The World Convention 1990 was going on. So literally hundreds of members of Alcoholics Anonymous were coming and visiting me at Harborview. They actually gave me my own bigger room. You know what I mean? And there's this one guy there that was my roommate. And while I was having that joke talk, I'm not getting biblical on you, but there's this dude in the Bible that has everything taken from him. He's like, hey, I want my day in court. What? I got sober. I'm not hitting people. I got sober. I haven't, transported large truckloads of stuff anymore. I'm trying to do the straight and narrow, and I'm sitting here paralyzed, missing 2 limbs, in the hospital, and I can't remember one day from another what I'm doing. What's up? I don't get it. And I was in this really dark moment in sobriety. It was like the crossroads, where sobriety is real or it's not. And my roommate, he was an angel, his name was Jesse. He was a Skid Row, full-blown alcoholic who everybody in his life has told him no. And he got in a fight with a guy like Mike Tyson that liked to bite people. He had human bites all over his face. I mean, it was just gnarly looking. He has part of his ear off, and just flesh just hanging, right? So they have him in there, on IVs to try to get this blood thing out of him at the trauma center. And he came over to my room my bed one night, and he was just shivering like this, like a little kid, double snot crying. He says, dude, I would do anything to be you. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? He says, well, when I leave here, they're going to kick me out in a couple of days. I have nowhere to go. And I know that I'm going to grab a bottle of wine and I'm going to go find a bridge and I'm going to drink. I've tried all that stuff. It doesn't work. I said, but it does. And I called my friends. He had to dial the phone. I called A and B. I called that log cabin. So I was in another crisis. Instead of thinking of me, I thought of him. When I was in the middle of that crisis, I called A and B. They had a payphone back. This is before cell phones, you know. They had a payphone back there. And somebody answered the phone. And the next day, instead of visiting me, they came and visited Jesse. And then he got out of the hospital. He'd come back to the hospital every couple of days and tell me about his sobriety. He took my ticket to the World Convention. You know what I mean? Went to the World Convention and did the Lord's Prayer with 58,000 people. He came back on fire. Do you know what I mean? So that's my message. It works when everything else fails. I mean, I could be at the lowest point in my life, and carrying this message can give me freedom. Freedom from alcohol and freedom from my own mind. You weren't feeling sorry for yourself, or I'm too big on myself, or I have too much money. You know what I mean? I don't have enough money. Carrying the message is, for me, the solution. It works when everything else fails. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing the other stuff. I do all the other stuff. So I guess the message is for me to share is thank you for letting me be here. I hope you got something out of what I had to say. And Jesse and I both left that hospital free men because of Alcoholics Anonymous. Just let me share.